The great emo punk war of Mexico. Shout out to my Mexicans, bro. Let's check it out.
This might sound like a South Park episode, but I want to make sure you know that while slightly traumatized, this all actually happened. This is real history.
It is Mo.
Also, I'm about to butcher all the pronunciations of all the Mexican place names, so I'm sorry. I'm only a white boy. Okay, here we go.
You low-key sound Mexican,
though. When people
though.
think of devastating conflicts, they oftentimes think of World War I, World War II, the Taiping Rebellion. Nobody thinks about that one. But what if I told you that one time there was an all-out war between Mexican punks and emos back in 2000?
Be honest, chat. Which one would y'all be? The punk or the emo? I go lie. I feel like punk is too out there for me. I feel like I'm just a chill dude for real. I don't really be doing nothing too crazy. So I feel like I'll be on the emo squad, you feel me? Because I wouldn't really want to put my hair in these Dragon Ball Z ass spikes. I'll low-key just let my hair rock like this. I'm damn near emo right now. I just gotta let my hair grow out a little bit more.
Peanuts. This is my last rejork. In the early 2000s, Mexican youth culture was divided into what is called tribus
That was a Filipino.
We got the punks, the metalheads, the goths, the ravers, the skaters, and eventually
the emos. Each tribe had their own dress code.
Yeah, I'll definitely be emo.
These groups weren't just hobbies, they were entire social identities, whole cultures tied to social class, rebellion, and belonging. Along came the emo movement. Imported from America, it spread like wildfire, and by 2006, emos were everywhere. It was the emo-apocalypse. It was
the fools reproduce like crazy or what?
MCR, their sweat bangs, their thin jeans, skinny builds, studded belts, you know, emos. Love
damn,
them.
but low key, I don't got the emo build because the motherfuckers mad skinny and shit.
Bangs, their thin jeans, skinny builds, studded belts.
I would have to be on like that twink diet.
You know, emo.
You feel me? Like I would have to look like this fool basically. But damn though, this fool right here, the top right here, he got some cool ass hair. I fuck with his hair. I want to learn how to get my hair like this. I'm gonna start rocking that shit.
Love them. However, some people didn't love them. They hated them. They hated them with a passion. To the older, more traditional punk generations, emos were too soft, too emotional, and in macho land Mexico, too feminine. That's bad. But why is that bad? Well, to understand the emo war, you need to understand machismo. What is machismo? Machismo is a social system that defines what it is to be a real man, a manly man.
What do you consider manly? Some would say Arnold Schwarzenegger and his muscles. My little pony, friendship is magic. Now I know what some of you are thinking.
Machismo emphasizes strength, dominance, hiding emotion, and honor.
That fool was buff as shit though.
It defines a lot of Mexican culture, and it's a big reason as to why.
But here's the thing about like overly buff fools. I feel like if you're gonna be overly buff like this fool right here, you gotta have a big ass dick. Like you have to, bro. Like imagine you have an average ass, like, you know what I'm saying, like an average ass meat. Like it's cool, like maybe a cool 5 inches, maybe like 5.5, and you buff as shit. Like what's the point of having a big ass, like what's the point of having that dick? You imagine having some big ass legs and your dick already not that big. That shit gonna make it look 2 times smaller. Come on now, you gotta have if you that buff, bro, like Ashton Hall type build. You gotta have a fucking slang. You gotta have a fucking pepino on you. You feel me?
Dominance, hiding emotion, and
you definitely
honor.
gotta have some sort of shit on you.
And it's a big reason as to why homophobia is still so big in Mexico. In a culture that emphasizes being a manly man, is there room for emos? Well, let's find out.
The powder keg.
As the number of emos grew in Mexico, so did the number of haters. Mexican media began mocking the trend. The news guys,
face censored date
parody
some
emos
like
as crybabies, depressed
weather
attention
girl
seekers wallowing in their self-created despair. Punks and metalheads began openly ridiculing emos, calling them gay and posers, while anti-emo groups started appearing all across the Mexican cyberspace, starting as jokes but slowly becoming more and more serious.
Motherfuckers called them gay.
To organized hate. People began seriously calling for emos to be cleansed from public plazas. Now, where did all these emos gather? We got two spaces that are important to the story. Glorieta de los Insurgentes, a traffic circle in Mexico City, and Jardín Zinea, a colonial-era park in Querétaro. Bing da da bing 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 bong. It's the news, and they're covering emos, and holy shit, in a very negative light. One infamous report from 2008 on Telehit even called emos a youth epidemic. Parents worried it was making their kids depressed and cut themselves, while conservatives called it anti-Mexican and decadent. A moral panic formed, and where there is moral panic, there is oftentimes hate.
Hostility? All these fools were
punks.
Don't tell me that these fools were having gang wars.
Goths and metalheads. The 4 tribes of Mexican youth culture. They have long coexisted, sometimes rivals, but when this 5th group, the emos, came along, They freaked the fuck out. Instead of rebelling against the system.
Oh wait, so I'm kind of getting the hang of this. So basically, like the emos were like the newcomers. Everyone was fucking with them. Like not everyone was fucking with them. They were just like getting hated on because like they're like the up and coming risers type shit. Like, oh damn, this fool like low-key got swag. We got to take him out type shit. All right, I respect
themselves. What is this twinkery? Get this shit out of Mexico. Small skirmishes would begin with verbal insults being hurled by these older punks all across the country, forcing them to concentrate in certain areas.
Bro, you the best, bro. You the best, bro.
Los Insurgentes and Gardenzenea.
You're the best, bro.
What were once punk spaces have now been crowded by the emos, and it's time that these punks do something about it.
The Battle of Querétaro? What the fuck? No way.
By March of 2008, Querétaro had become a flashpoint for the growing anti-emo sentiment, and Gardenzenea was the first target. Emos typically gathered there in large numbers on Friday evenings to hang out, a perfect environment for an ambush. The punks had started rallying throughout the day on social media that they were going to cleanse Gardenzenea, and by the evening this plan was ready to be put into action. Let's compare forces. Emo contingent, strength 50 or so, objective chill, weapons, their voices oftentimes.
Hold on now, imagine like a Rockstar game or something, like a game in general about this war, the emos versus guys, or the emos versus everybody. You play as the emos or some shit. They got a multiplayer mode where you can choose whichever faction you want to join to. It's like MMORPG type shit. And if you see another person, it's like Rust, but imagine like you're just like walking by, you're like emo, right? And you see a group of punks. Or you start running, you start hitting the dash, and you get jumped by them fools or some shit. And in the story mode, you're the emo, and you start this gang war and shit. Like, oh my god, that shit would be calm.
These angry emos tend to cause panic attacks and opposition.
Gaming company should hire me to give them ideas, because I low-key got some good ass ideas.
Aside from that, belts and bags can be used in self-defense. And then we have the Anti-Emo Alliance, composed mostly of punks, but there was also metalhead skaters and bored civilians. Strength between 400 and 800. Objective: eliminate the emos. Weapons: belts, chains, bottles, blunt objects. The emos were not expecting a full-scale attack this night, and the scene was set for an intense battle. The piggies were also there, but they didn't really care, seeing this is another youth quarrel. Anti-Emo Recon would confirm that there were indeed around 50 emos gathered around the gazebo, and small groups of punks would converge into the garden, shouting obscenities at the emos, employing psychological ops, chanting "Emos no!" to deliver an early hit to emo morale. Minutes later, the Anti-Emo Alliance would launch their assault, moving in from nearby streets, and the first bottles would be thrown on the western flank. Emo defenders would fall back to the gazebo, forming tight clusters. Local civilians, sensing something was wrong, would flee as the punks became more and more numerous and vicious in their attacks against the almost defenseless emos. The emos were completely encircled, and it was looking like this would be a bloodbath. By the late evening, the emos and punks were engaged in hand-to-hand combat, using belts and bottles as weapons. The punks would knock the emos down and forcibly cut their bangs, rendering them incapacitated.
Yo, imagine you're an emo, right? You get tackled, and someone takes out scissors and just cuts the fuck out your Edgar cut.
The emos would
someone cuts my Edgar cut like right now. We gotta swing. I don't care.
Towards the southeast, but it would fail.
My shit looking beautiful right now.
Would prevent injured emos from being evacuated. About 10 minutes later, the cops would get off their asses and do something, coming in from the east and deploying tear gas, forcing the aggressors to scatter into nearby streets. Some emos would make a break for the east, running down Calle Cinco de Mayo, fleeing into another nearby plaza. A unit of punks engaged in pursuit, beginning another skirmish with them at Plaza de Armas until the cops broke this one up too. Within hours, footage circulates across the internets and media would report on the violence, and this riot triggers copycat organizations across the country. This battle was a clear punk victory, but it was a strategic failure because the backlash was intense. The emos' morale were shaken and they were left beaten. However, they weren't defeated, and the future battles would test their resolve.
Nací en el agua caliente.
March 16, 2008. It was a crisp day, a perfect scene for a battle. This battle, the Battle of Insurgentes, would be a culmination of weeks of anti-emo unrest. After Querétaro, emos across the country would call for peace and solidarity, and they would increase their presence in public plazas across the country as a show of force. The Anti-Emo Alliance would respond by organizing confrontations in these plazas, and Glorieta de los Insurgentes would be the biggest of all of these confrontations. Let's compare forces. Emo contingent, strength, hundreds, big step up from the last
background music.
Objective, peaceably assembled. Weapons, same as last time. And then the Anti-Emo Alliance, guards, numbering in the hundreds, with an objective to clear Insurgentes of its emo population. Their weapons would be the same as last time too, but the key difference in this battle is that the anti-emo alliance would employ a different tactic, guerrilla warfare. Throughout the day, the emos would stage a visible presence at Insurgentes.
It was like moving like Vietnam or some shit.
The anti-emo alliance would pull up to confront them. Verbal taunts would escalate and the tension would be concentrated around the metro station. Why the fuck does a roundabout have a metro station? Anyways, this battle would not be like the other one. The anti-emo alliance would resort to their guerrilla tactics, as there would be multiple hit-and-run flare-ups across the traffic circle rather than concentrated fighting like.
You think they had like group leaders, like captains and shit, were saying, okay, like you gotta push A. So this would be A, right? Like you gotta push A right here, and then this is B, this is C. So groups 1, 2, and 3. You guys are pushing A, which is gonna lead for Group B to come in for recon, and whenever Group B comes in for recon, Group 3 is gonna have to hit them from the back, but then half of Group 2 is gonna stay back there. So then whenever this comes, they hit them from the back again.
Last time, incidents include shoving, belt strikes, and even haircuts. Mexico City police would deploy to the scene around the late afternoon.
Oh, this was like actually a fucking war.
The officers would push through the groups and arrest.
No, I'm glad they didn't make a video game out of this.
It seems though, whenever the cops would
or anime or some shit,
another would form elsewhere. This battle is seeming like it'd go on forever, and Insurgentes would be an eternal warfield. But then, out of nowhere, a third party enters the fight. Who could it be? Who will this decisive third party be?
Is it a priest? The what? The monks? Krillin? What the fuck?
After hours of tension, those Hare Krishnas that you see at airports pull up and start chanting, walking straight through the crowds, completely interrupting the battle. An aroma of peace filled the air as the Krishnas handed out food and invited people to chant with them. This was the decisive moment in the battle, and after the Krishnas showed up, everyone just went the fuck home. Boom! Dinner's done.
No way. The police came, they came out with riot shields, flashbangs, all that shit, but the Christian Rocks, they came out of nowhere and just made peace.
Who won?
I fuck with it, honestly.
Not really. The punks? Maybe. The Krishnas? Oh yeah, they
Krishnas? Won. Hey, this was good videos, bro. Noags. Hey, shout out to Noags. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna give you a sub, bro. This video looks cool too. The alternate history of the USSR every year. Mexico has been surpassing AI since the beginning of time. Wait, that's actually crazy, bro. I wouldn't expect the Christians, Krishna, I don't know the fuck you pronounce it, to like come and intervene and stop that shit. I really thought it was like gonna be like a priest or something. They'd be like, Dios mío. Nah, I feel like they wouldn't listen to a priest though. Those are good videos though.
We shopping at Neiman's, fuck side. Nigga wanna beat me so bad. Keeping that Glock on me, never lie. My brothers ain't going like that. Hollow tits ripping through his bag. Got these white folks think I'm doing scam cause I'm counting up these racks.